And it's great to have you and you and you. Thanks for joining us. We are live on the Jim Masters Show, and thanks for having us in your life and in your living room or wherever you are around the world. This is week number 3 of our extraordinary series that we launched together about 2 weeks ago. Again, as I mentioned, I do this, for a living as a television radio host, and so many of you have wanted me to do this to open things up here on social media. So about 3 weeks ago, we launched the Jim Masters Show, and the outpouring of support has been extraordinary. Thank you so very much, everybody. We really appreciate all of the comments, all the love, all the support that's been coming in from all around the world. We've heard from all across the United States. We've heard from Canada. We've been hearing from Europe, Asia, Australia. All kinds of texts, all kinds of messages, and all kinds of comments and posts and love and support. So it is Monday. It is the 18th of May, 2020. We welcome you to the Jim Masters Show. We have a lot of fun here on the show. We have all kinds of different segments. Every show is completely different. And again, we like to mix things up with special guests and all kinds of fantastic segments as we broadcast live on Jim Masters TV on Facebook and also at YouTube on Jim Masters TV. We hope you've had a great day thus far. We know we're living in unprecedented times, and it's been tough for all of us, across the globe. And we wish you love and light and peace and joy and inspiration during these times. And we hope that this show brings some wonderful love and light and some smiles to you and your loved ones and those who are tuning in. We've got some special guests in just a moment who will be joining me, as I told you, some wonderful friends who have been hopping on board. It's amazing. As soon as I mentioned we were doing this show, the Jim Masters Show Live, so many people have said, I want to go on the show. I want to be a guest. And that has been truly a blessing. And I'm very humbled by that. We have some tremendous guests who are going to be joining us here on the program. But of course, as we always do, we kick things off with a toast to you and you and you and you and you and you. We welcome you to the show tonight. Again, what's in this glass? This is a little Pinot. So just very, very light, just a little Pinot to toast you and you and you and you and you from all around the world. I raise a glass to you, and I thank you very much for joining us here on the show. It's always a blessing, and it's always a treat to have you with us. Of course, you guys were the ones, when we did our nostalgic week about a week ago, you're the ones who said, keep George Burns on the show. So here he is. There's my Ed McMahon, George Burns. He says hello to you and you and you and you as well. He's here. He's ready to go. He's got his cigar. His glasses are on. And of course, again, you got to have light and levity. You got to have some fun, right? It's pretty heavy out there these days. We've got Jeannie inside, the authentic I, Jimmy Jeannie hand-painted bottle. She's still in there. She won't come out because, again, she doesn't like the way her hair's coming out because the hair salons are closed. So tough, Jeannie. How you doing in there? You hanging in there? She says, yes, master. So we'll join her later on. And of course, as you know, you guys voted to have them on the show. Light and levity. We've got our cast of characters here. Remember, straight from Europe when I was on a TV shoot, Silver joins us here as well. Beautiful Silver, part of the program as well. And Silver says hello. And of course, one more to put a smile on your face, as we always do on the Jim Masters Show. We have Jimmy the Clown, the porcelain clown that my mother gave me when I was a kid. And there he is. And he says hello to you and you and you and you and you. This is great if you got grandkids or children watching as well. So Jimmy says hi. And I say hello as well, wherever you're watching around the world. And as you know, we always start the show Hollywood style with some lights, camera, and action. All right. It's good to see you, everybody. I hope you had a good day today. We're here every 7 o'clock. That's right, 7 p.m. We do this show every single day. I must be crazy. I signed up to do this thing every single day. Absolutely. 7 p.m. Eastern and also 4 p.m. Pacific. So wherever you're watching, we thank you for making us a part of your day. And as you know, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Amazing guests. We have David Friedman joining me in a moment. He is an extraordinary and award-winning film and theater composer, a songwriter, an author, a lyricist. He is extraordinary. He also does this wonderful program called The Thought Exchange. We also have Reverend Shawn Moninger, who is here as well, another award-winning multidisciplinary individual. They're both dear friends of mine. He's a comedian. He's a reverend, ordained minister. And he is also just a spectacular person, specialized in the spoken word. He's a spoken word artist, and they will be joining me in just a moment. Tomorrow night, a Mediterranean guitarist and PBS star Pavlo will be with us. That's right. That's going to be absolutely amazing. And then we have Bill Hildebrand. He's going to be with us on Wednesday, Las Vegas comedian. He's internationally known. He sells out wherever he goes. He's hilarious. He's with us Wednesday. And then Thursday night, Renee Nesbitt from Celtic Woman and Rocktopia. She is that wonderfully talented violinist and fiddler. We're always performing together. We just produced a PBS special up in Maine with composer Tim Janis, and it was called Celtic Heart, and it debuted on PBS in December, aired again in March, and it was filmed in Maine as well as in California and segments in Ireland as well. And she is absolutely stunning. A dear friend of mine. We saw each other last when on stage at Carnegie Hall. So she's joining us on Thursday. And listen to this. On Monday, we've got a very special Memorial Day show. That's right. Award-winning television and film actor, stage actor, the beloved Tony Lobianco is going to be joining us here Monday live with a very special Memorial Day presentation. You're not going to want to miss that at 7 p.m. And then Liz Kiefer, who is an award-winning actress who was on The Guiding Light on CBS for 27 years, is going to be joining us on Tuesday of next week. So we've got a full schedule next week as well of terrific guests. So we say thank you for joining us as well. And you know how we always like to start the show? We like to kick things off with some birthday greetings. Now, if you are celebrating a birthday, we say happy birthday to you as well. We'll kick off our birthday segment here exclusively on the show. Let's celebrate some of the cool birthdays that are happening right now. It is Tina Fey's birthday, born Elizabeth Stamatina Tina Fey, born May 18th, 1970. She's an American actress, comedian, writer, producer, and playwright. Best known for her work on the NBC sketch comedy series Saturday Night Live from 1997 to 2006, and for creating the acclaimed comedy series 30 Rock from 2006 to 2013, as well as Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, 2015 to 2020. Tina Fey is also known for her work in the film, including Mean Girls, 2004, Baby Mama, 2008, Date Night, 2010, Megamind in 2010, Muppets Most Wanted, 2014, Sisters in 2015, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 2016, and Wine Country 2019, and Soul 2020. And of course, you remember on Saturday Night Live, she did such an impeccable performance as Sarah Palin. We celebrate Tina Fey on her birthday today. Here's a sports legend, Reggie Jackson, celebrating his birthday this May 18th. Reginald Martinez Jackson, born May 18th, 1946, an American former professional baseball right fielder who played 21 seasons in Major League Baseball, MLB, for the Kansas City, Oakland Athletics, Baltimore Orioles, and New York Yankees, as well as California Angels baseball teams. Jackson was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1993 and was nicknamed Mr. October for his clutch hitting in the postseason with the Athletics and, of course, the Yankees. Jackson led his teams to first place 10 times over his 21-year career. Absolutely incredible. Happy birthday to baseball legend Reggie Jackson. Here's another birthday. Pernell Elvin Roberts Jr., better known as Pernell Roberts, born May 18th, 1928. He did pass away January 24th, 2010. American stage, film, and television actor, as well as singer. In addition to guest starring in over 60 television series, he was best known for his roles as Ben Cartwright's eldest son, Adam Cartwright, on the Western television series Bonanza from 1959 to 1965, and as chief surgeon Dr. John McIntyre, the title character on Trapper John M.D. on CBS from 1979 to 1986. Roberts was also known for his lifelong activism, which included participation in the Selma to Montgomery marches in 1965, and also pressuring NBC to refrain from hiring whites to portray minority characters. So he was definitely an activist. And you recognize this face with the dulcet tones? Pierino Ronald Perry Como. That's right. May 18th is his birthday. He was born May 18th, 1912, and he passed on May 12th, 2001. American singer, actor, television personality. During a career spanning more than half a century, he recorded exclusively for RCA Victor for 44 years after signing with the label in 1943. Mr. C, as he was nicknamed, sold millions of records and pioneered a weekly musical variety television show. His weekly television shows and seasonal specials were broadcast throughout the world. And in the official RCA Records Billboard magazine memorial, his life was summed up in these few words: 50 years of music and a life well lived, an example to all. Perry Como. Here's another performer that we're celebrating here. This is George Strait. Yes, there he is. George Harvey Strait Jr., born May 18th, 1952. An American country music singer, songwriter, actor, music producer. George Strait is known as the King of Country and is considered one of the most influential and popular recording artists of all time. He is known for his neo-traditionalist country style, as well as cowboy look, and being one of the first and most prominent country artists to bring country music back to its roots and away from the pop country era of the 1980s. George Strait's success began when his first single, Unwound, was a hit in 1981. And during the 1980s, 7 of his albums reached #1 on the country charts. In the 2000s, George Strait was named Artist of the Decade by the Academy of Country Music and was elected into the Country Music Hall of Fame. He also won his first Grammy Award for the album Troubadour. George Strait was named CMA Entertainer of the Year in 1989, 1990, and 2013, as well as ACM Entertainer of the Year in 1990 and 2014. He has been nominated for more CMA and ACM awards and has more wins in both categories than any other artist. So we say happy birthday to George Strait. And here is another legendary performer. Well, not performer. He's an Italian-American film director, producer, and writer who worked with so many performers. This is Frank Russell Capra. That's right. Frank Capra, Francesco Rosario Capra. May 18, 1897, and he passed September 3rd, 1991. An Italian-American film director, producer, a legend, of course, and a writer who became the creative force behind some of the major award-winning films of the 1930s and 1940s. Born in Italy and raised in Los Angeles from the age of 5, his rags to riches story has led film historians such as Ian Freer to consider him the American dream personified. Capra became one of America's most influential directors during the 1930s, winning 3 Academy Awards for Best Director from 6 nominations, along with 3 other Oscar wins from 9 nominations in other categories as well. Among his leading films were It Happened One Night in 1934, You Can't Take It With You in 1938, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington in 1939. Capra was nominated as Best Director and as producer for the Academy Award for Best Picture on all 3 films, winning both awards on the first 2. Now, during World War II, Capra served in the U.S. Army Signal Corps and also produced propaganda films such as the Why We Fight series. After World War II, Capra's career declined as his later films did, such as It's a Wonderful Life in 1946, which actually performed poorly when it was first released. Hard to believe, right? In ensuing decades, however, It's a Wonderful Life, starring Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed, and other Capra films were revisited favorably by critics as well as fans. Outside of directing, Capra was active in the film industry, engaging in various political and social activities. He served as president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and worked alongside the Writers Guild of America and was head of the Directors Guild of America. So there are your birthdays. All of these incredible celebrities and terrific folks who have made contributions to society. We say happy birthday. And as you know, we like to personally sing happy birthday to them as well. So why don't you join me, raise a glass, happy birthday to all of these terrific folks. And of course, to anybody watching who's celebrating a birthday today. I know somebody very special who's one of our guests today, who's continuing his birthday celebration, David Friedman. So we're going to sing happy birthday to him and to everybody else. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. We love you. We think you're special. We wish you happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Happy birthday. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. And guess what? I want to let you know who is with us. Yes, two very talented and handsome chaps, David Friedman and Shawn Moninger. And you want to see them in the flesh? Here they come. Good to see these guys. Thanks for joining us, guys. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hey, oh, who do we got there? Hello to Gwendolyn. How are you?
Hi, Gwendolyn.
Hey, David. Happy birthday to you. You had a wonderful birthday. Tell us about the amazing celebration that you had that continues.
Well, it should inspire people that it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You can still enjoy your celebration.
We're supposed to be in Italy right now.
Yeah, we were supposed to be with 12 friends.
Yeah.
And, I woke up, I did some gardening, I walked with my neighbor at a safe social distance. We do it every morning.
Yeah.
And, I came back. We were on Kenneth Gartman's 11:11 show, which he does every day on Instagram. And Shawn sang. I played one of my songs. And then at noon, I taught a class. And then I was done. And that was fun. And
nice, huh?
Shawn said, can we go outside and show me what you did in the garden? So we went out. And all of a sudden, I hear all these honking horns. A huge parade of the choir from the church and other friends and all sorts of people came by with signs.
The whole Unity Center music team.
Unity Center music. Kenneth drove up from New York. I just seen him I had just taught 2 of the people in my class on Zoom. And so one brought a cake, everyone, whatever their comfort level was. Some came, stayed in their cars, left. Some people put on masks. We spread a circle of chairs, a very wide circle in our big backyard next to the river, and we spent time together. And I'm told, now there was one couple who could not make it.
Yeah.
And I understood, but I was disappointed I didn't get to see them. 5 o'clock, the doorbell rings, and them delivering this fabulous, complete Italian meal with decorations and with a tablecloth, and it was from Fred 06825, which is an
Do you know them?
Yeah, caterers. Yeah, wonderful people. Yeah, delicious.
So
extraordinary meal, tablecloths, everything, baskets.
So
bread.
Shawn went and put it in the oven.
Yeah.
I stood at the door at a distance and spoke, and they said, we really can't stay long. And they left. And I wish I could have spoken to them longer. But when the meal was served, Zoom came on, and they were in their house in Westport having the dinner with us as we would have had in Italy together.
That's fantastic.
Had a delicious dinner.
Yeah.
One brought out the cake. And all of a sudden, all the people who were supposed to go to Italy with us popped on the screen.
At 7 o'clock, they all came in for dessert. They had candles lit on their.
And
Shawn, I had cupcakes for them all.
Yeah,
I went around delivering cupcakes.
And we had the cake, and we had a celebration and an hour-long visit. And it was as good as being on the terrace in the hotel in Florence. It was.
See?
It was just warm my heart. And so, if you got a loving, creative guy like this and wonderful friends, you just know your parameters,
right?
And you can. The one thing I said the other day, there are 2 pandemics: COVID and love.
Yes.
Love is very catching,
right?
It's communicative.
Right.
Once you have it, you can have it forever. You never get over it.
Right.
So, but we spread the love within this parameter, and it was really I was thrilled. I'm just so thrilled.
That's amazing. And I've been to your house with a lot of our dear friends. For the folks that are tuning in, we've been friends for many years now, and you guys throw some beautiful spreads right there at that dining room table you're at right now over the holidays. You really know how to treat people, take care of people. And I think that's why you guys get these responses from friends and loved ones and colleagues and the public at large, because you wear your hearts on your sleeve, both of you equally. And I think that's why people love you guys so much. And that's why things like that happen, parades in the street and all kinds of stuff like that, because, you know, you're fantastic people. You know what I mean? And I want to tell, in case people are watching who are saying, these guys look familiar, but I want to know a little bit more about them. So, born May 16th, 1950, David Allen Friedman, a film and theater composer, songwriter, author, lyricist, conductor based in the New York area, of course, in Connecticut. Received a 1997 Backstage Bistro Award for Composer of the Year, 1997 Johnny Mercer Award for Songwriter of the Year, Special Lifetime Achievement Award at the 26th Annual MAC Awards, and oratorio King Island Christmas, won a Frederick Lowe Award, a Dramatist Guild Award, your musical Desperate Measures, which of course everybody has loved, won the 2018 Drama Desk Award for Best Music and Best Lyrics, Peter Kellogg, we worked with as well. Also, the Outer Critics Circle Award for Best Off-Broadway Musical and the Off-Broadway Alliance Award for Best Musical. David's original songs include Listen to My Heart, which is absolutely one of the most beautiful songs, truly moving. Help Is on the Way, another one. Of course, We Can Be Kind, which so many wonderful artists have performed. We Live on Borrowed Time, another beautiful, beautiful song. I encourage folks to get David's music. It will really touch your heart. I'll Be Here With You, Just in Time for Christmas with David Zippel. My Simple Christmas Wish. In January 2003, David published the music book, Listen to My Heart, the songs of David Friedman through his publishing firm, Midler Music. The book features
Midler Music.
Midler Music. The Bette Midler. The book features 63 Friedman songs, including Listen to My Heart, We Live on Borrowed Time, We Can Be Kind, Help Us on the Way, Your Love, Trust the Wind, My Simple Wish, and I'll Be Here With You. Following upon the book, David, in October 2003, debuted his musical review by the same name. Was conductor of the music scores for Disney's animated features, including Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and was vocal contractor for Mulan. Songs written by David have been featured in the Disney film Aladdin and The King of Thieves, the Lizzie McGuire movie Bambi, and in the movie Salsa, in 3 animated television series, Happiness, Sky Dancers, and Dragonflies. You're not a sloucher, David, that's for sure.
Listen to it. I'm telling you, I needed to stay
You're
home.
thorough.
I do my research. Now listen to this, folks. He's written songs for Diana Ross, Barry Manilow, Petula Clark, the beautiful Nancy Lamont, Alison Krauss, Laura Branigan, LMNT, Jason Alexander, Laurie Beachman, Lana Kazan. We just celebrated her birthday on the show a couple of days ago. Leslie Uggams, and so many others. He produced all of Nancy Lamont's recordings. Many include his original compositions. You may remember too, he was a regular on the Today Show for a long time in that segment with Kathy Lee Gifford, Everyone Has a Story. Yes, that's this David you're seeing right here. And he partnered up with Kathy Lee Gifford, and they wrote a new song every single month. And they performed it with a current Broadway star on the first Thursday of each month on NBC's Today Show. David has also worked in theater, several Broadway musicals, served musical director for incredible productions such as Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Song and Dance, Beauty and the Beast, composer of 4 musicals with Tony Award nominating book lyricist Peter Kellogg, as we mentioned, and the list goes on and on and on. And in 2006, David worked in the music department at the World Trade Center, a biopic film based on the September 11, 2001 attacks, starring Nicolas Cage. He's also, in addition to all of this, the beloved music that he's presented to all of us, he is the creator of something very, very special, a metaphysical method called the Thought Exchange. And in 2011, he published this amazing book by the same name. He's appeared in the 2010 documentary film, The Thought Exchange, based on the book. The film was directed by Usher Morgan and starred Lucy Arnaz, who is another mutual friend of all of ours as well. and R.J. Shaw and others. In his book, David admits to being diagnosed with severe agoraphobia at age 20. These two gentlemen are very, very open people, and that's why people relate to them. Being hospitalized for treatment with an experience which motivated him to create the thought exchange concept at a later age. The fine gentleman next to him on his right is Reverend Shawn Moninger, another dear friend, ordained Unity minister. He served as minister and does serve a minister of Unity Center of Norwalk. And he's been doing that since 2004, and with love and compassion and empathy. He is the founding president of the Unity Church of New York in New York City as well, and currently serves as staff minister. He's a busy boy. He serves as chair of the field ministry team of UWM, and for 2 years so far as OMC.
Unity Worldwide Ministries is what that stands for.
The UWM,
yeah.
And as well co-MC of the International Convention of UWM. He began his spiritual journey in earnest after a 21-year career as a multi-award-winning lighting and sound designer in New York nightclubs. In 2015, Shawn debuted his solo stand-up comedy show, Because I Can, and I was there, and it was hilarious, and we hope he does more of this. It was at the Metropolitan Room in New York City, for which he received a 2016 MAC Award nomination for male debut performance. In 2016, he premiered a second show, second edition, just as hilarious, for which he won the 2017 Broadway World Award for Best Musical Comedy Performer and the 2017 MAC Award for Outstanding Spoken Word Artist. Shawn's mission in life and his ministry is for everyone on the planet, including himself, to know that he or she is good. It is a simple task and a powerful journey. You see why I'm friends with these two gentlemen? They are absolutely amazing. And that's not everything. That's just the short list. You guys, I tell you, it's breathtaking careers. What are some of the things that you're working on now? How have you been dealing with this whole coronavirus homebound situation? Have you been busy, been writing, creating? What have you guys been up to? Yeah, well, choking each other.
Everything. The funny part is everything you just gave me or said about me, I'm now doing from my office at the church. Yesterday I opened the church service on our stage. There's 5 of us that work on Sundays. The David and Christina Connors.
Yes.
Music, and I have a video person and a lighting person.
Very far apart.
And then me. And then Teresa Krisky was the speaker yesterday. So I opened the service, and then Teresa took over, and I went in my office and I did the service for Unity of New York.
Oh, that's nice.
Live. And it's like, okay, so I'm getting around and all over the place, and I don't have to leave the 2 rooms. I just have to go across town from here.
Right, exactly. Tell us, Shawn. I've been there, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's so different. It's so unique. Tell us about the experience, what people do experience, have experienced, can experience, will experience at the Unity Center of Norwalk. You really have created such a wonderful community of people who truly love and care and share, and you set the tone. I know you're very humble about that, but you set the tone. And tell us about that experience you've created.
Well, it's impressive because our church is above a Ford dealership in downtown Norwalk. And I had never heard of Norwalk before I got the job. They called New York at the New York church, and I was a volunteer there, really. But I was studying. I had just been ordained. And they said they were looking for a teacher, a minister teacher. And I heard the call, and I said, oh, that's my job. Because I had no plans on ministering to a church, pastoring a church, but I heard a voice say, you have to, Shawn. So I thought, oh, there's the church. So David and I went up, and I spoke, and they hired me. And it's a lovely community.
Yeah.
Somebody called it the biggest small church they'd ever seen. It's a big mentality. It's a big thinking church. And I'm happy to say that we have about, anywhere from 35 to 60 people on a Sunday when we had a lot of people. Now we have 90 to 100 and some on Facebook Live.
That's right. You do that. Yeah. Is that daily? I've seen them, and they're terrific.
Oh, no. The Sunday morning service.
But you have another thing that you do.
A daily dose of spirituality with Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
But the message is very different from a lot of churches.
Well, the message is it's part of the unity movement, and so that comes out of Kansas City in the 1800s. But new thought. I teach new thought. That's what I do. I give everybody a chance to rethink everything, because thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And we need to start exploring, what am I thinking that's leading to what I'm saying, and wondering why it won't go away.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Jim, you're such a positive person. You're much kinder than I am, really. I didn't leave high school voted most likely to be a minister. Somebody said I voted most likely to need one, and so I have an edge to my pulpit. But it still comes down to metaphysical law or spiritual law. So we don't worship. We're really, you could call us Christian, but we don't worship Jesus. We use Jesus as a master teacher. We're all equal in God,
right?
And you can't not be loved by God. And I don't mean to come on here and preach tonight, but that's how it's different. My main part of my ministry is, as you read there, I am good and can't not be good. I could be really horribly behaved and awful, but I can't not be good. And
so with all that we have been dealing with as a society globally and here in the United States, which has been extraordinary with the COVID-19, the unprecedented loss, the economy, the health, everything that's going on. I've said this on the air multiple times. I think the only people that could have scripted anything like this would have been Steven Spielberg or Stephen King. It's so extraordinary.
Stephen King would script it.
Stephen King would have been scripting this, right?
You ever read the book The Stand?
Yes. It's pretty much there. Yeah. Has there been a special message? Has there been anything that you have been doing within your messages, within your sermons, that is providing comfort, solace, specific to this extraordinary, unprecedented event in our lives?
Well, I suppose I speak on the metaphysical laws of health more than I did before. I've always included between health, prosperity, harmony. But I do a lot more around health. I sing this ridiculous song, which you can go on my Facebook page, and it's almost every day, and it's called Every Little Cell. And it's sung. Sing it. Really?
Yeah.
You really want to hear?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And now live. Here's Shawn Moninger.
I have people who just hate this song, and now they're singing it around the house. It's sung with their shortening bread. And it goes, every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is healthy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is healthy and well. Repeat and repeat. And I put myself to sleep at night with those words that I do it silently.
Good.
But I tell people, and I have friends that say, why did you teach me that song? I'm singing around the house all the day. But it's a prayer.
Right.
It's an affirmative prayer. It's not begging for health. It's affirming that there is health flowing through your body. And I figure we need that more than ever right now.
Absolutely.
To get into that consciousness rather than, oh, poor me.
The other thing you've been doing a lot of, and it's such an issue, is what are you saying online? Are you expressing Facebook, anger and negativity and hate?
Right.
Are you and we've been working with it, posts. Part of it is getting rid of rage.
Right.
And part of it is communicating.
Exactly.
And he always says, ask before you push that button.
Right.
What are you putting into the world? Because that's a real issue lately.
And David, for years, and you continue to touch us and express your essence of life in the world through extraordinary music and extraordinary song. I mean, we live on borrowed time. We can be kind. I mean, all of these songs, listen to my heart. These are so apropos, not just for these times, but for every single day. For the edification of our audience, did you grow up in a musical family? Where did all of this incredible talent come from?
I don't know. My father loved music. He was not a musician, but he was a great appreciator of classical music. And I had relatives who were musicians. And so it just blossomed. And, a lot of these songs, the thing about it is, many of these songs I wrote during the AIDS epidemic for Nancy Lamott to sing or Laurie Beachman to heal and to spread a message of hope. And so, for instance, Help Us on the Way is the theme song for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS Easter Bonnet competition. Every year, a different major star from Broadway closes this huge event with that song. So I was asked to put together one of those huge videos using the stars who have done it in the past. Maureen McGovern, Norm Lewis, who else? There are about 14 people who've gotten together to sing with us, and then a whole cast of backup singers and a cast of children and musicians. And so I'm working on that.
So Nick and Nani Rose that just sent in hers
Nick
the
and
other
Nani
day.
Rose
Wait
sent
till
in
you hear
hers
her
the other
part.
day, and Rachel
York.
York is doing it, and a lot of wonderful people. I can't rattle them off right now, but so and my song "We Can Be Kind," I turned that into a book called "We Can Be Kind: Healing Our World One Kindness at a Time," and that is about. I took one line from the song for each chapter and give stories on that subject, anecdotes, and then suggestions as to how we can be kind to others and also how we can be kind to ourselves. And at this time, my publisher rushed out the audio version with me reading, and Lucy Arnaz wrote the introduction. And so it's on Amazon now, so people can download it, and we're charging very little for it, just so everyone can have it. And I'm coaching and teaching singers and thought exchange, doing classes, and I've really slashed the prices because I'm at home.
Right.
And it's okay if I make less money because we're spending less money. Just eating out alone is saving us a fortune. And so,
and yet to look at me, you'd still think I eat out every day.
Right, yeah.
Right. In my research, you also wrote one or two songs for the PBS series Barney and Friends as well.
It wasn't it was the movie.
The movie. Oh, the movie.
Movie, and I wrote two songs for the
I never knew that. Well, my years with PBS, I never knew that you were involved in that.
Wow.
And I wrote for the Barney movie, and I wrote for I had a big hit, Your Love with Diana Ross, and people say, "Can you tell me how to have a pop hit?" And I say, "It's always an accident. It's just, it's I sent that song, Your Love, to Diana Ross, and the record company sent it back and said, very nice, but not for us." But they didn't listen to it. You know that because a friend of mine decided to test that and sent in a tape of Simon and Garfunkel singing Bridge Over Troubled Waters and Whitney Houston singing The Greatest Love of All. And they wrote back, "We don't feel that these are hit songs." So, so we know they didn't listen. But anyway, when I was conducting Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat on Broadway, a woman named Victoria Lang was the assistant to the producer, and we became friendly. And when that show closed, her next job was a line producer on the new Regis and Kathy Lee show.
Sure, yeah.
And she, first of all, got me a job whenever there was someone who was coming on who didn't have their own pianist, like Orlando came on, or Carol Burnett, or Bobby Vinton. They'd call me in to play. And I gave her this song, Your Love, and she gave it to her co-producer, Harriet, who gave it to her husband, Scott, who was Diana Ross's publicist, and sat down in Diana Ross's living room with Diana Ross, and recorded it and had a quadruple platinum hit.
Unbelievable.
You never know how things happen. You just let them roll. And I'll tell you, one of the things I decided at the beginning of this pandemic, I felt like I was pushing and striving and trying to get somewhere. And I said, I am helpless. I am powerless. This is happening. I am going to sit back and receive, see what Spirit has to give me if I don't fight.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I received was a lot of extra bills I didn't expect. I must say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got to say,
you too, huh?
began to ring. I'm doing this television series, Koga and Friends.
That's
and
cool. Yeah.
children. It's this wonderful series about martial arts and how kids can solve their problems.
And it's animated, and yeah.
And we found a way to produce episodes on Zoom with the kids in their homes. And so, and people are calling from all over the country. I'm doing a thought exchange workshop on Zoom. Now, I've taught thought exchange in 50 different cities around the country.
Let's talk about, define what thought exchange is, David.
What thought exchange is basically that we all know that positive thoughts produce positive results. And I began teaching artist workshops and realized we know this, but we don't seem to be able to stay with those positive thoughts. We're not stupid. We're not lazy. We're trying. We're spiritual, solid people. Why is that? Mm-hmm. And what I realized is if you have a positive thought that has somehow been hooked to a negative experience early on, like if you said, I'm going to be a star, and someone slapped you across the face and said, no, you're not. Anytime you say that or think it, you feel an uncomfortable physical sensation. And we very quickly learn the way to not feel uncomfortable is to never think that thought.
Right.
So what I teach is that discomfort means nothing now. So in order to be able to reclaim those thoughts, you must be willing to be in your body with whatever it feels like. And most of the things we do are, like, for instance, you're a veteran of doing what you do. I dare say before you go on every day, your heart flutters and your mind does a little this and your hands, and you are willing to have that. And your mind even might say, oh no, I can't do this. But you are willing. So when people say, I want to be really famous and successful, I say, terrific. Are you willing to be that uncomfortable? Mm-hmm. And people don't want to be uncomfortable because they attach meaning to it. We have a great story. Years ago, for some reason, which we don't understand, we both were having this strange buzzing sensation down the front of our bodies. And it just kept happening for months. The only difference between us was Shawn assumed that it was his chakras opening to new open possibilities. And I assumed I was having an aortic aneurysm. Yeah. So every time it happened, he'd go, oh, and I'd go, oh,
I love it. Yeah. This is the end.
Yeah. And it was neither. It was just a sensation.
Oh, my chakras were open.
Yes, right. But so
don't you dare.
So I teach people to notice what's in front of them, because you see, the other thing is we only experience the world inside of ourselves in the form of sensations and thoughts. I can't prove that you're there. I know I experience you, but if I was dreaming, I would too. And those thoughts and sensations are not who we really are. We are an invisible consciousness located nowhere, observing this. And we cannot, who we really are, cannot be diminished, expanded, hurt, anything. We are here. So what I do is I say, look at what's in front of you. Look at what you're seeing in your life. And it's not that you're making it happen. It's not that you're causing it. It's that you are only seeing your own thoughts and sensations when you look at that. So what's that expression you say about people you don't care for having friends?
Oh, does it ever confuse you that people you don't like have friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you say,
who could like those people?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. And when you say, oh, people. He's an awful person. Oh, you're kidding? I love him. No, I hate him.
Yeah.
Neither is true.
Right.
What's going on in here? So when you see what's going on out there, and you ask the question, which Shawn brought up before, what must I be thinking if I'm seeing that?
Right.
Now, then you exchange the thought, but the challenge, the thing that so many methods of working on this miss, when you exchange the thought, you will feel uncomfortable. And if you can't be with that discomfort, you'll pop back in. And so I always say the difference between Tony Robbins and me, the reason Tony Robbins perhaps has millions of people working with him, and I have somewhat less, is Tony Robbins says, do this, take my method, and your life will be wonderful and everything will turn out. I say, come to my class, pay me, and I guarantee you, you'll leave feeling worse than you came in. Want to take it? But that worse is mastery. That worse. When I write songs, I never start a song where my mind doesn't say, you can't do this. You know, you can't write, it'll never write. But that's not where I write from.
Did you used to in the early years?
No,
I can't.
It always says that. My mind always says that because my mind is protecting me from all past hurts.
Yeah, right.
It always announces that, but that's not where I write from.
Right.
I'm open to writing. I tolerate the discomfort of writing. Yeah. My mind is blah, 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 blabbling through the whole thing, saying, it's terrible, you can't do it. Right. But that's not where I write from. And I don't even write, it writes. I open.
Right. Exactly. I had always been told, and I've experienced it and really paid attention to it over the years and all the work I've done on television, radio, stage, what have you. I've always been told that you're going to get those butterflies, and those butterflies will come because you really care about whatever it is you're about to do. You care about maybe striving for excellence, or you care about the creativity, you just care about what it is you're doing. The day that you approach whatever that thing is that you've been doing, and those butterflies are no longer there, you've lost the interest, you've lost the passion. It's time to move on to something else. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah, I call it all systems go. And there was a wonderful story. I was winning a Lifetime Achievement Award, and Lucy Arnaz was presenting it to me. And we're backstage pacing the floor nervously because she has to go out and, you know, rave about me and all my attributes. And then I have to go out and accept an award, whatever that is, and sing a few songs. And she turns to me and says, all right, thought exchange. What are my sensations? She said, my throat is tight. My stomach is churning. Hands are shaking.
Yeah.
And just as they said that, as she said that, the announcer said, ladies and gentlemen, won't you welcome to the stage the one, the only, the fabulous Miss Lucy Arnaz. And she looked at me and went, I can go out there with that. Hello, everybody. You know, and she went out with it. Don't try to get rid of it. Don't try to stop your thoughts. Exchange them. Let the other one run in the background. You know, if I'm making a cake, there's pepper sitting on the counter. I don't go, no pepper, can't see the pepper. I just don't pick it up.
You know, there's another difference between you and Tony Robbins, and that you make damn good mac and cheese.
No, that's my father, when he had his heart surgery, said they found it in his arteries.
You know, it's amazing, the two of you together, because a lot of what you both do, and this is something that I really appreciated about both of you when we first met moons ago now. A lot of what you do is independent of each other, but so interwoven, and in terms of just empowerment and inspiration and reassurance and love and kindness and empathy, both of you uplifting people as you're being uplifted as well while you're doing that. There's a lot of what you do, again, even though there's separate ways that you've done it, that is very interlocked together, isn't there?
There is, and often we come at it from very opposite directions to get to the same thing, and we have to be careful we don't argue that his way is better or my way is better, because we won't like each other very much.
Right.
We'll find it hard to practice what we preach.
Right.
So I have to appreciate how many people are helped through his methods, and who takes the time to appreciate and observe, and even often be helped by my methods.
Exactly.
You know, it's really great.
I wanted to tell the audience, I mentioned it in the introduction, about your incredible comedic background and also, spoken word artist. Tell us about some of the cabaret performances, some of the wonderful things that you've done, Shawn, as well. You are extraordinarily dry-witted. You are very, very funny. And whenever I'm over at your house, I don't know who makes me laugh more. The two of you just play off each other so beautifully. It's hilarious. But you've got this wonderful, keen observation of life and these little quips and observations as things. I'm similar to that. That's why I identify. You're quick-witted. When you see something happen or when something is awry over here, you come right in. You've got this just quick observation that is on point, spot on, and hilarious.
Well, I often get to surprise you when we're together. I say things you don't see coming, and it's fun. I did lights and sound at Don't Tell Mama in the City for 21 years, from 1985 until 21 years later, and I had always wanted to do comedy, and I'd watch people for years, and I'd watch them do shows, and I was a nervous wreck. I was too afraid to do that, so I learned how to be really good at lights and sound, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on stage, but I couldn't find a good reason why. And that's why ministry serves me so well. I still get to be on stage, but I have a good reason for it. But I was 41. I was turning 41, and I thought, I'm going to do comedy. And I went to a producer of a show, and I said, I would like to go do comedy. He said, I would so put you on. So I gave myself 4 weeks to learn 7 minutes, to write and learn 7 minutes. And what I learned is everybody has their own style. I don't do voices. I don't do impressions. I don't do things like that. I tell little stories based on observations and my own personal experience. And I did that first 7 minutes, and I ended up doing 30 appearances that first year.
Wow.
And I got nominated for an award, and then I stopped doing it. It got harder to do 7 minutes of the same old material than it did to do a brand new 25-minute talk on a Sunday. And told me, the comedy got to be all about ego.
Right.
And a few years back, 4 or 5 years ago, they were doing a tribute to David Friedman at the Metropolitan Room, and they asked me to speak, and I got up that night, and I was funny. And I thought, I'm ready. And I called Bernie Frischman the next day. I said, I want to do my own act. And we booked it for like a month later, and I wrote an hour-long show. And it went I sold out for 10 months the first year, and you already read. I got the award nominations and things. And then but I wanted the award, so I wrote a second show for the next year called, the first one was called Because I Can. The second one was called Because I Can Too. And I won the award that year. And I'm so thrilled. I have several awards for lighting, and I really wanted one for performing. And it made a big difference to me. Maybe someone could say, you shouldn't want the awards. I wanted one. I'm allowed to. And if you don't want one, give it back. It's like,
I'll give it to me.
It was lovely to be honored by so many people. So I used language in that show, heavy duty language. You saw it.
Yeah.
My church came repeatedly. Women in my church came repeatedly to hear that one word in particular, and they weren't offended. They understood the point of it. I had left. I said it in Palm Springs when I played. Lucy Arnaz produced my show in Palm Springs, and there was a friend of hers who said, "You should never use that word on stage." And I did not tell that word here. Her best friend was Joan Rivers.
Yeah,
use that word every
like
second.
she's saying, don't you?
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy, the double standard.
Yeah.
Well, I loved it that Jane Powell came to the show, and Shawn said, were you offended by the language? She said, no, honey, it was like a 7-year-old saying it.
You sound like it was wonderful. And so it's very gratifying to do all that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't afraid. Once I decided to do it, David was really surprised by opening night.
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous at all.
Not nervous.
I had earned my right to get up there and do it, and I was prepared.
You knew.
And show I was not so prepared. Because I Can Too, I wasn't at all prepared. I was opening on Saturday, and on Thursday I didn't have a show. I really did not. And
now, why do you think that is? Is because of the expectation? Were you trying to surpass The first show, the first show?
Just couldn't focus enough.
Mm.
But on Friday, I heard there was press coming.
Yeah.
By Friday night, I had a show. I asked David to come over to the church and let me rehearse it. He said, "You have a show. How did you do this?" And I ran that show for like 5 months.
Mm. Yeah.
And it was funny. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was not a bad show by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spontaneous, and
You are.
And so I like to laugh. My minister, my inspirations for ministry, they were all funny people.
Right.
And so it gave me permission. The first time I walked into a Unity church, the minister was funny, and I thought, "Oh, you're allowed to laugh here."
Right. Exactly.
It's so important to me.
Oh, well, he's hilarious on the pulpit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You weave in the comedy into.
It's not planned. It just happens.
Well,
it just happens.
but he's very careful. But he does something called correct perception, where people talk about things that concern them, and he works on how principle can change it. So his board president, who he knew could take it, raised her hand and said, "I always feel like people are not listening to me." And he said,
"What?"
Right.
What?
Yeah.
David Friedman has one of the best laughs on the planet. He should be in the front row of every comedy club. And if the guy's bombing, they want him in the front because his laugh is contagious.
One of the things that people love when we were on stage, because we traveled all around the country speaking in churches.
Yeah.
I would do the talk, he would do the music, and then he would do his thought exchange workshop, and he would do a second explaining thought exchange during my talk. But what the compliments we always got was how he pays attention to me while I'm speaking.
Right.
They would watch him watching me, and then they watched me watching him while he sings. And so it was a very connected moment for us and for everybody else. And in my comedy act, he played 2 songs, because I sang 2 songs, both of which he had, one song he did not write. In a way, I was my cookie song. And I always like to say, I want y'all to know that while I have the wonderful David Friedman here to play, he did not write one note of music nor one word. In fact, he wanted me to make sure I told you all that. He wants me to get all the credit for this.
David, let's talk about Desperate Measures, which I had an opportunity to see. That really was a labor of love, and to see it come to fruition, off Broadway, and just have the response so extraordinary. Tell us about, the idea for that and the blessings that have come as a result of that work.
Well, it's a country and Western version of Shakespeare's Measure for Measure in verse. Peter Kellogg, who wrote the book, is a genius. And it was exactly at the right time. It came out in 2018, and it's about a misogynistic, crooked governor who tries to trade favors for sexual favors, and a group of people who get together and thwart him. So it was really topical, and it won all the awards. And we've licensed it all over. Now, at the moment, for instance, I was on my way to Hawaii on March 11th to see the Honolulu production, and I got as far as Los Angeles, stayed with friends for a couple of days. That was the plan. And then the country closed, and I went back. Now, they've left the set on the stage, and whenever they open, probably September or whatever, I hear the cases are really diminished in Hawaii, but they're concerned about people coming in.
Sure.
Whenever it opens, we will do that. And it's being licensed all over the country. Most of the productions were postponed at this time, but should be picked up again. And it was a joy. It was just we had an ideal cast, and we loved doing it. And it was, I hope everybody gets to see it at some
Absolutely. point. And you worked so closely with Nancy Lamott too. Tell us about that amazing relationship that you had with Nancy.
Well, Nancy was probably one of the most extraordinary interpreters of American popular song of the 20th century. And we moved in similar circles, and I followed her. And one day I walked into a Irving Berlin club act of hers, and I said to her afterwards, "You should be recording." And she said, "I know everybody says that, but who's going to do it?" And I heard myself say, "I will." And I started a record company for her. And she just was on the cusp of huge stardom when she died of cancer at
Yeah.
the age of 43.
Mhm.
25 years later, her music still lives and thrives.
Mhm.
And we're talking about making a movie about her and stuff like that, and we'll see what happens.
Well, if
But
you guys don't have her CDs yet, get them while you still can, because
Yeah.
they're absolutely timeless. The way David mixed those things,
Yeah.
they're not set in any specific
Yeah.
time frame.
and they're going to go out of print soon because it's been 25 years,
Yeah.
and it's time. But we have them, and people say, which one should I get? I said, it doesn't matter. You'll get one, and you'll come back for all of them.
With all the extraordinary things you guys have done collectively and independently, what are some of the things on your own bucket lists that you would love to have an opportunity to do, starting with you, David?
I don't know. I thought I want to have another hit show. I'm not sure. My priorities have really changed recently
I know.
because, as I say, I've lived an ambitious horizontal life.
Yes.
And what I realize, and part of this is living with him, I want to get in touch with being connected to spirit.
Hmm.
Go to get this sense, which is the truth anyway, I think, that I am being lived. I am not controlling my life. I am not making things happen. And a lot of my life has been that. And it came to such a stressful point. For me, this period is welcome and needed. Not that I want to see anybody suffering, but for me, so I kind of am going at this point, I have no idea. Things come to me, I'm interested in them. I'm working on, for me, it's been very strange to just work on something to work on it.
Hmm.
No agenda except sharing. And so I'm really in this spot. Might be my age, it might be, I don't know, but it's I'm sort of giving up in a very positive way and
You've
going,
released a lot of things, you let go of a lot of things.
yes. And I have a song called I Finally Let Go.
Right.
It says, I let go of waiting around for one dream to come true. I let go of striving for this. I sat down. I felt all my tears. I felt all my pain. I let go of my ambition. And then, only then, I found you. So
Yeah.
I'm really going, I wonder what riches I would find
Hmm.
if I stopped trying to control it and released to higher power, whatever that is for me. So I don't know what I want to do.
Right. That's a beautiful answer. Yeah, you're living life and as things come. Exactly. How about you, Shawn?
Together.
Yeah, we're doing well during this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no problems.
Is there anything that you have on a bucket list that you would love to do yourself, Shawn?
Well, everything in the world has changed now.
Yeah, it has.
Well, I can't look at the planet or my life the same way ever again. So at this point, I'm anxious just to see how each day unfolds and what I think in it, and hope my bucket list really is to be much kinder to everyone. I'd like to work. I just have a handful of people I'm holding out on the forgiveness list.
Sure.
And I want to diminish those. I say one finger at a time. We had a neighbor I don't care for, and they waved to me one day, and I said I didn't wave back because I was afraid I wouldn't use all my fingers. And and so I actually said hello the other day as we drove
you
past
said
them.
Hello.
That's the first time in 14 years.
Why do you think you did? What was it about that time in 14 years?
Because I want the peace.
Yeah.
By letting go of all resentments and all grudges, where those things aren't important to me anymore, that they don't have to undo the past for me to connect with them now on a human level.
Because they say that when you forgive others, it's a release for you as well. Because so many times when somebody does something horrific or something we just didn't like, or they hurt people we care about, it's very hard to forgive them. Yet they say we should, because it's a release for us as well.
It is absolutely essential. And I'm the one in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wonderful saying that says, holding a grudge is like taking poison and hoping the other person dies. You're
Right.
thinking of doing this.
You're the one that
Neighbors don't even know. You know,
they don't even care.
I ignore them.
Well, they kind of know.
Yeah, they do.
But we've never had a argument. There was just a big betrayal shortly after we moved in. But I need to be set free of that because it's not doing me any good.
Yeah.
And it's not doing them any good, and it doesn't do the world any good.
Right.
For me to hold on to this. So that is my bucket list, is to be free of
resentment.
Of resentment. Exactly.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So with all that's been going on with COVID-19 and all of us being sort of, I'm working out of the home studio, you guys are there. Are you working on things for the future, for when things start to open up? It's going to be a new normal: masks, social distancing, people not sitting next to each other. All it's going to change the whole scene. But are you crafting different things, working on different things as we go along, or no?
Not yet.
Do you feel that this is a reset as well? I've talked to a lot of people, interviewed a lot of people, and it feels like this is also, as horrific it is with the health, the economic, there's some sort of a reset, almost as if as a society, as a community, we were reaching a point where we were already social distancing with our heads in our cell phones and stuck on social media, and everybody complaining, not enough kindness, not enough empathy, which was very true. And now we had a major global situation happen where we were all sort of equalized. We were all stuck in our homes. We had to social distance. Nobody's liked having to do it, though we were already sort of doing it. It seems as though this can also be a wonderful time to harness and create some absolutely beautiful things in terms of how we come out of this as a people, with more empathy and kindness and creativity and collaboration, respect, less divisiveness. I've been hoping we don't return to normal. I hope we go to better. Does it seem like there's some sort of a reset that we have been presented with, an opportunity as well?
Well,
Yes.
if you look at the Bible, which,
as I'm sure you do.
No, which I consider stories. The Bible is great stories that are about us, whether you believe they happened or not. You take Jesus, Job, Noah, Jonah, the Israelites in the desert. It's all sort of pulling back from the world, disaster that allows the old thoughts and the introspection to happen, the old thoughts to leave and to come out the other side. The whole basis of the Christian religion is death and resurrection. To me, that's symbolic. And now we're going through the death, and we have to fully do it. And that involves people being anxious and grieving and stuff like that. That's part of it. And if we can fully do it, we come out the other side. But the fact is, what's really important, we don't know. Did you see there was a wonderful video done by this girl in Tulsa? And she said, look, folks, I am going to recap. It's very clear. Everything we know about COVID, so you know how to behave. She said, you must absolutely not go out of the house unless you go out of the house. All stores are closed except the ones that are open. You have to wear a mask unless you don't. You definitely can catch it in the air unless you can't. And you're definitely immune after having it, except if you're not immune. We don't know anything. And really, we never know anything.
No.
And I think living in faith, in spirit, is, I think Pema Chodron said, the only solid ground we have to stand on is that there is no solid ground to stand on.
Yeah, exactly.
Let go into it, and amazing stuff happens.
And a lot of people get stuck at that spot. They don't take the risk. They don't take the step because they're fearful of the fact that nothing is constant. Nothing is forever. None of this, even right now, none of this is constant forever. Even though we try to create it and cement it and make it supported and strengthened, none of it's forever. We have to learn in our lives to adapt and be flexible and go along with it and embrace, because sometimes some of the new things that come along can be extraordinary, right?
Of course. I did my talk yesterday. It was called Lift Up Your Foot. And it was all about, so many of us, we have put our foot down and we're not picking it up. But this is what I believe. This is the way it is. And it's like, lift up your foot and find
Mhm.
out that there's more to the
And you
story.
might feel uncomfortable when you do that. Very,
Yes.
because actually he got the talk out of something he advised me to do, where he said, I feel like you're throwing a tantrum
You
about
put your
something.
foot down about this.
And
Right, exactly.
up, you're going to feel all the things that you were suppressing.
Right.
It's meant to feel. This is healing.
Mhm.
And it's scary.
Right.
And that's why we have to talk to each other
Exactly.
and share the challenges. And I'm trying to be a Facebook presence. I tell people, if someone reads your Facebook and they meet you,
Mhm.
you're the same person.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
It's,
Right.
you
Right.
know, not I'm raving and screaming and then,
No.
yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You, and it's the same person.
Yeah. That's just you, dear.
What was the inspiration for We Live on Borrowed Time? Because right now, I mean, what we've been experiencing is such a reminder of how we do live on borrowed time.
Well, you see,
It's a beautiful song.
writing that affects everybody is almost always done in very specific terms. You don't write grand thing, you write about something specific. So Borrowed Time, Laurie Beachman, one of the extraordinary singers I worked with, came down with ovarian cancer. And they gave her 6 months. She lived 9 years. And at one point, she came to me and said, can you write a song about my cancer? I was like, oh, what am I going to say about that? So I looked at it and I realized that we are all here for a limited time.
Mhm.
But when you get a diagnosis like that, you're suddenly faced with that. And the fact that really at every moment, you have a choice on how you're going to use your time, even though, you know, as you said before, it's going to end.
Mhm.
So she was about to get married with the cancer, and she was starring in Les Mis at the time. And so I wrote this song saying, yes, we're always faced with a limitation, with an end. And what do we choose to do with it? Can we celebrate and walk bravely into the unknown, knowing that we don't know?
Right.
We have no idea what death means. We have no idea. You know, we have a cabaret singer friend, and she said, I feel so guilty because so many of my friends have died and I'm still here. And I said, how do you know they're not somewhere going, oh, God, are you still belting out maybe this? Exhausted. So we don't know. And one of the biggest things about faith is to be able to say, I don't know,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
sit in that.
Mhm.
That's the truth.
Mhm.
I don't-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We Can Be Kind is another that's been a big part of your life. Tell us about the inspiration for We Can Be Kind, because those are such simple and important words too.
Well, that's funny because every year there was a big event during the AIDS crisis called In Celebration of Life, and they paired writers and singers for the writers to write new songs about healing subjects for the singers to sing. And Nancy and I always closed that concert.
Yeah.
And so that year I said, what would you like to sing about this year? And she said, you know, I was on the bus and this language was so nasty to me. Could you write something about how people could be nicer to each other?
And that was it, huh?
Yeah. So it's kind of a human incident. You know,
Right.
when Fiddler on the Roof played Japan, the critics said, how did these people understand Japanese society so deeply?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was specific to the human part of Jewish society, and
Right.
it translated. So everybody has had an experience with someone on the bus or
Mhm.
online or whatever
Right.
that translated.
Are you often inspired by the things you see in life? You're an observer of life, and that provides a source of inspiration for your art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and frankly, it comes through me, not from me.
Right. Right.
Right me.
You're a
and
conduit.
not necessarily practice it or believe it. It's a misnomer that I am so kind.
You think he trusts the wind?
Yeah, you think I trust him? You think I think help is on the way? You're out of your mind.
That's
And I gotta say, and Shawn, on his behalf, Shawn's ace in the hole as a minister is that he makes it clear that he is working on these principles in himself as much as in anybody. He's not sitting on the mountain pontificating. He's talking about his struggles, about how challenging it is, about where he has fallen down, what he does. And he's an example of using principles to solve human problems.
And having been to services there, that is the vibe that you get almost immediately through the entire service and at the end, that when you are listening to Shawn, you're getting the essence of who he is. The stage is only like one step higher than the seats, really. It's not way up. And it's very communal, and it's very loving, and it's very spirited. And Shawn, you're always so open and so real and so raw, and you're so funny and so responsive and so encouraging to people. And I think that's what makes it unique. You can have a unity, but it also has to have somebody like you who really understands the human condition, who's been through things in your own life, your own experiences. So when people come up to you and they tell you about their fears, their struggles, their happiness, their joys, their loss, you understand it, having been through life yourself.
There's not much I can't identify with.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm so, I just said yes to this. And when you say yes to something and you mean it, I believe you are endowed with abilities.
Also something about him, for the last quite a number of years, he never writes a sermon. He studies it, he thinks about it, he reads, and he lets Spirit speak through him. And his sermons and sometimes I'll say to him, that was so wonderful what you said. And I'll say, what did I say?
Yeah, I don't always appeal to the one who comes for an intellectual stimulation.
Right.
Because I don't do a scholarly talk. But I believe I am cohesive between my readings and between the music and the songs, the solos, because the solos are part of the talk as well.
Right, exactly.
Songs are chosen very carefully. And I every now and then I have somebody who says, Shawn, I'd really like it to be this way. And I said, it's not what I do.
Right.
It's just not what I'm not going to give you a college talk on about Jesus, about the Bible, about that. I will use all those things because the whole point, though, is to change our thinking.
Right, exactly.
A more affirmative, life affirming.
Exactly.
Although, a therapist friend of mine said, what is so challenging about being a minister? So I said, imagine if you spent 95% of your time in the company of all your patients and they could all talk to each other and critique you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's like to be a minister. Shawn is a transferential figure and has to really stay present.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my job, because, I was a music director on Broadway in the movies, my job is to hold space. And so, as he was saying before, when he's up there talking and I'm at the piano, I'm listening. If there's a piece of information that he forgets, I'm there with it.
Yeah, he's amazing that way.
Because
it's amazing.
It is a privilege. It is a privilege to contribute. It's a privilege to hold space. It's a privilege to give. It's a privilege to, and I think people who understand that are blessed.
Honey, I think we're done. Our names are gone.
Oh, you're there. You're there. I'm just looking. We got a lot of fantastic comments. See them coming in. Lots of comments coming in.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All kinds. We get a lot of. The show is very interactive, and I like to bring the viewers in and see all the comments. That's the angry cat. LOL. Pretty cat.
Oh, they're gorgeous. We have 3 of them.
Hi, Shawn and David.
Hello, Christopher.
Yeah. And he's in Ohio, and Martha Oliver Swartz is her son is a musician. She is in Michigan.
Wow.
Love always wins. Ken is in Wappingers Falls, New York. I just want to go to one of their parties, their soirees. Yes.
Well, our Christmas party is dinner for 125. I doubt that we'll have it this year, but
Austin Greenfield.
Too, Jim.
Wow, David has accomplished so much. That is awesome. Absolutely. I can't tell you the amount of comments that we've got here, guys, just in response to you guys being here. Let's see. Happy birthday, David. Happy birthday. I do the music once a month at Unity of Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, terrific. Great.
Let's see. Wow, so much talent, both David and Shawn. Absolutely. This is a great song, Shawn. Let's see. We also have This Is Incredible. Only the best on the Jim Masters Show, folks. Spread the word. Tell your loved ones. Yes, they are exceptional people. You know that. And what is unity? That means we're one. We're one with everything and everyone.
Right.
Beautifully said. Prayer for protection
of unity. It's a spiritual philosophy for positive living.
Exactly. Let's see. We've got more here. Joseph recently played the part of Farrah and Levi, Toledo, Ohio local theater. That's wonderful. Great concepts and new thought thinking, thought exchange. And I am in such awe of David and Shawn. They are fabulous people. My friends are all fabulous, folks. They're wonderful people. Christine says, yes.
The dog.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing the new school of thought. Martha says, you're so right, Jim, about the butterflies in the stomach. That means something. Let's see. We have here. Is that Pigpen behind you guys?
Chocolate boy.
Chocolate boy.
Chocolate boy. Chocolate boy.
Candy bar.
I knew they were going to ask. Sang a few years back at Don't Tell Mama. Mike played the piano. What a fun place in Little
It's
Italy.
not Italy. No, it's in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah, it is Midtown, isn't it? Yeah. That's right.
Not either, but that's
No, there's not.
Everybody thought that was Pigpen behind you there.
No, it's
June Rachelson Aspa is with us as well. Yeah, she was on with us a couple nights ago. Wow, so amazing.
Love her.
You're all so sweet and funny. So glad David and Shawn came on. I am as well. As soon as I asked them, I tell you, they said, absolutely, Jim, we'll be right there. That they're that kind of people.
Well, what we were concerned about.
Danilo. Mike used to be
yeah.
Amazing individuals.
We were concerned,
wonderful interview. Yeah.
We were concerned because we never have anything to talk about, you and we.
All right. Yeah. We usually close the place.
Oh, you do? Yeah, he stays for 5 hours after
That's a great saying, David. Let's see. The program is so healing. Yeah, tonight it is. It's a good way to have this on a Monday, right? So you can face the rest of the week. Just trust the wind. Brian is
Brian has a documentary. Brian spends a lot of time in Italy, and he did a documentary about traveling around, meeting the people, eating in their homes, going to their vineyards. And he has this beautiful documentary coming out about don't wait. Do it now. Take the risk. Exploit it with Trust the Wind. So, hi, Lenny. How are you?
Kathleen, hello.
Thanks.
Yeah, Tuscany next year.
Yes. Got it. Yeah, we didn't go this year. We'll go with you next year.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So, it's really great when you get a chance to, get feedback from people. There's like 70 comments on there. I just tried to scan through some of them. What brings you guys the greatest joy in what you do? Because again, I've been so in tune with you, and we're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. And I've just gotten that through the conversations we've had. We think about the world very similarly, and the way that, we are with people and how we treat people. What are some of the things, David, that bring you the greatest joys when you look at your career and all that you've done and continue to do?
Well, I'll tell you, the word educate comes from the word educe, which means to bring out. I get the greatest joy when I see somebody find joy in themselves, when I see somebody respond to something I've given in a way that supports them. And it's not altruistic. It's years ago, I took a cruise on the Sea Goddess. And the Sea Goddess was a Cunard yacht, a 5-star yacht, where you'd be in the jacuzzi. They'd give you caviar. They'd give you champagne, anything you wanted. And I said to them one day, I said, do you ever go back to the kitchen and say, oh, my God, if that guy asked me for one more thing. And they said, no. In order to work on this ship, you have to appreciate the value that you get from giving service. Service, whether in church, whether in 12 steps, whether service is the greatest gift we can give ourselves.
Absolutely.
And it's not, you're not doing anybody a favor. You don't need to be thanked. You see the fruits of your service. So when I see that I've served, I feel good.
Yes, absolutely. Me too. Same way. You both have applied the unity principles in your lives. These are beautiful people, Jim. And my sister in Florida. Hi, Jim. Very nice interview with Shawn and David. That's my sister.
Hello.
Says hello. And you've met my mother. So she's with her in Florida. Yeah. Yep, she's with her in Florida. So I tell you guys, you're just amazing. I said we were going to talk for 30 minutes. That went out the window. What the heck? You know what I mean? It's my show. We talk as long as we want. You guys are just, I salute you. You have your cups of what have you. I always say grab a beverage. Let's chat and have some fun. Let's see if we can toast without spilling it on our keyboards. Clang to the extraordinary Shawn Moninger and David Friedman, two dear people, creative talents, extraordinary people who inspire people in ways that go deeper than the norm. And I wish you all the very best. Again, health, happiness, continued joy, continue empowering people as you do. Such a blessing to have you on just the third week of the Jim Masters show. And I wanted to make sure that you guys are on here early in the game because you're a blessing in my life. And David, I wish you continued wonderful joys and blessing in your life as you celebrate your birthday and continue to as well. And you, Shawn, as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have us back, Jim. It's fun.
Absolutely. And I sing you a toast. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear David. Happy birthday to you. There you go.
Hey.
You're very welcome. And everybody, hey, I knew this would come in. My sis, who's with my mother in Florida, says, Mom says hello.
Hi, Mom.
So Helen says hello.
Hey.
And cheers. Kathleen says cheers. Good stuff. Guys, thanks for being with us. You're the best.
We're so grateful.
It's always a pleasure. And I am so blessed to call you dear friends.
Yes.
Same here.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Good night. You guys take care. Thanks for being with us. Get some sleep. Take care. Bye-bye now. Are they not amazing or what? I tell you, they're so talented. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And Brian, of course, says, ciao, ciao. Absolutely. Dear friends of mine, have known them for years. They're really extraordinary. They're very, very talented and just absolutely love them. As you can see, they're very spirited. They're funny, creative. David, again, is a renowned and legendary film and theater composer, lyricist, songwriter, responsible for so much extraordinary music. And Shawn Moninger, ordained minister, Unity Center of Norwalk, Connecticut, and also a spoken word artist, comedian. Again, they play off each other so beautifully, don't they? You know, on this show, we're here every night, just so you know. This is our third week of the Jim Masters show. And as you know, I do this professionally as a television radio host. And so many of you asked me to do this on social media. And, you know, for years, I've been trying to have some time to do it. And now with what's been going on, I've had some time to be able to do this. And it's been a real blessing and a pleasure to have you joining me each night. Tomorrow night, we've got a very special guest joining us as well. We've got a full week of extraordinary guests coming up. Tomorrow night, the extraordinary Pablo is going to be here. Now, Pablo, if you saw his amazing public television special, it was extraordinary. I had an opportunity to interview him on PBS. Matter of fact, he's of Greek origin, and we smashed the actual dishes in the studio. He lives in Florida with his lovely wife and his children. He tours the country and the world. He's working on a public television special that he is filming in Santorini, Greece. Once all of this is, taken care of, with the pandemic and all. But he's just extraordinary, and he's going to be with us. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm sure he's going to have his guitar with him as well. And again, he lights up the stage. He lights up the world. And again, if you've seen him on stage, you know how incredible he is. And then Wednesday night, Bill Hildebrandt, he is an extraordinary comedian. He's originally from Michigan. You can catch him in Vegas and so many other incredible places. He's going to be with us as well. That's on Wednesday night. Thursday night, another dear friend, Reverend Nesbitt, who you know from Celtic Woman. She's the extraordinary fiddler and violinist. She's talented. She is a beautiful person inside and out. And she's going to be with us as well. And that's going to be on Thursday night. That's right. She's so excited. I was talking to her today. She's also appeared recently on Broadway in Rocktopia. And we worked on a public television special together called Celtic Heart with Tim Janis and the Harp Twins and so many fabulous performers. That was an amazing special. And you can see it, I'm sure, coming up again on PBS. I just wanted to show you some wonderful photos of the gang. There is me and David Friedman and Shawn. We were at the, I believe it was the Carlisle in New York City. We had checked out a show there. This was at dinner in New Canaan, Connecticut at a fantastic restaurant. And also this was, I believe, upstairs, BJ Ryan's, I believe, in Norwalk. It was a wonderful celebration as well. David and Shawn, again, they're, and Shawn always has that wonderful, joyous expression on his face. Great people, dear friends, and an honor to have them both joining me on the Jim Masters Show tonight. Monday night as well, we're going to jump ahead a little bit to Monday night. Monday night, the award-winning, legendary actor, Tony LoBianco, another dear friend. I was just talking to Tony and his beautiful wife, Elise. We had a wonderful conversation. He is a spirited person. He's a passionate person. He's a giver. He is a legend in television and film. I interviewed him actually a few years back, several years back on PBS for a national PBS special called The Italian Americans. And they brought him in to talk about his background and his wonderful upbringing and just really extraordinary conversation. And he's going to be joining me on Memorial Day. I asked him, Tony, when would you like to come on the show? And he said, if there's any way we can do it on Monday, Memorial Day, which is next Monday. And we're going to show an extraordinary video that he is a part of and produced that has been viewed 60 million times. I won't tell you yet. I really want to surprise you on Monday night, but he is going to be my exclusive guest. Award-winning actor, film, television, stage actor, Tony LoBianco, exclusively here on the Jim Masters Show. And then on Tuesday, Liz Kiefer, who was on, well, a brilliant actress, a phenomenal actress. I interviewed her a couple of weeks ago, and she wanted to hop on the Jim Masters Show right away, and I really appreciate that. And we've been getting that kind of feedback. She, for 27 years, was on Guiding Light on CBS, and she was a brilliant actress, and that was a tremendous role. She was on the show from 1992 to the show's end in 2009. That's Liz Kiefer. She's a beautiful person inside and out as well. She's going to be joining me on Tuesday night next week as well. So we have an incredible array of guests that are coming up here on the Jim Masters Show. Again, Pablo is tomorrow night. Then we've got Bill Hildebrand. He's on Wednesday. We've got Reverend Nesbitt on Thursday. Tony LoBianco on Monday. And then, of course, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we've got lots of great shows and lots of viewer interaction, a lot of cool surprises coming up as well. But make sure you tune in for all of that. Hey, folks, you know, I always say, whenever you can, relax. Breathe. As we were talking about tonight with David Friedman and Shawn Moninger, breathe, experience the joys and blessings in life. Again, we're on borrowed time, as David's song says. We can be kind, as David's song has been celebrating for so many years. You can relax, be kind to each other. No day's going to be perfect, but strive for the best. And all the blessings to you and yours from me and mine here. And of course, George Burns and Jeannie and Silver and Jimmy the Clown, we all say thank you so very much for joining us. I toast you and you and you and you. I hope you enjoyed the show. Feel free to share the links. The show is archived. It's at Jim Masters TV. Also YouTube at Jim Masters TV. I love doing this. These shows have been a true blessing in my life, and it's only week number 3. And so many of you are regulars. You've been with us since day one. It's been absolutely extraordinary. Kathleen says, great guests. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Kathleen. I'm glad you are enjoying the show as well. So, guys, we're going to wrap it up so you can continue the wonderful things that you want to continue for the rest of your evening. It's always a blessing to have you here and always a true joy. And whatever you do the rest of the evening, I hope you have a good night. Thanks for sticking with us. We went a little bit longer. This is going to become a 2-hour show because we have such great guests and such fun together. I mean, this is really different on social media, isn't it? You can flip through the dial or flip through the Facebook and YouTube pages. This is really something unique, and we're creating this together. This is our show. It says my name there, Jim Master Show Live, but I'm very interactive, and I welcome you to be a part of this show. We had our very first Viewer of the Week celebration, celebrating one of our faithful viewers, Kathleen Walker, last night, and that was a great show and a great blessing as well. So for all of us here at the Jim Masters Show, I toast to you. I say thank you for being with us. I really enjoy having you here. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. with internationally renowned guitarist and just a great guy, Pavlo from PBS fame and more, joining me at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Jim Masters Show. Again, for all of us, you take care, you be well. Jim Masters thanking you for your time this time till next time, and you have a very good night from all of us here. I appreciate you being with us. Love you all. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Good night.